It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they're just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar today, we're at the Maple Leaf on Oak Street. In fact, we're outside in the courtyard at the Maple Leaf for a very important reason because we've been kicked out of the inside of the Maple Leaf because today is the first day of the coronavirus shutdown where the whole city is beginning to shut down. And the first casualty was today, what is it called? Wednesdays at the Square. The Youth Leadership Council's Wednesdays at the Square show is cancelled. And so instead, they're relocating the show to here at the Maple Leaf. With Flo Tribe and Dave Jordan starts at 6 o'clock, so they're going to be sitting up on the stage where we would have been. So we're sitting out here on an auspicious day, on the first day of the coronavirus shutdown in New Orleans. And my very special guest sitting around the table here today, Joe Garrity. Hi, Joe. I can tell what you do. You have a company called Crescent Canna.
That's right.
It's on your T-shirt.
That is right.
If everybody could just walk around with their name of their employer on the T-shirt, it would be a lot easier.
It's a very comfortable T-shirt.
That's it's really a nice T-shirt.
The office is filled with them. It's
Are you giving them away? Did you bring one for everybody?
Plan ahead.
Yeah. And the canna is short for cannabis.
Sure.
Is it, or is it not?
No, it is. But, we try to pretend we're a CBD company in this state. It's not exactly legal yet.
Why didn't you call it Crescent CBD?
Well, because we'd like to be a cannabis company. Who wouldn't?
Oh, I see. So you're eventually going to sell cannabis? Like to smoke pot?
Depending on your definition of cannabis, we sort of already do. We don't sell anything that's illegal.
Right. Well, CBD...
My lawyer's not here, but he wanted me to say that.
CBD is cannabis. It's made from...
Yeah. So, the cannabis kind of encompasses the hemp plant and also what you refer to as like marijuana. So it has a lot of stuff that's really high in THC, which gets you high, and it has a lot of other positive effects as well that a lot of people believe in.
So you brought some CBD with you?
I did.
Are we all allowed to try it?
Yeah, you can absolutely try it.
I've had tons of CBD.
I brought our extra strength, which you actually should feel something from.
Okay.
Unlike
well,
most
we all
CBD
definitely should all definitely try it. Yeah. And if we all tried it from the same dropper, would we all get coronavirus?
I'll just pour it into your mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody called Felter is also here.
Yes.
I hate saying that because it's your surname, but everybody calls you Felter.
That's correct.
I feel like I ought to call you Lauren. But then nobody would know who you are.
Right. I don't like my first name.
You don't like it?
No.
Why? You look like Lauren.
It's pretty basic. Pretty, How many Laurens do you know? I like to think I'm one of a kind. So, ever since I was in middle school, I've gone by my last name.
What middle school was this?
I went to Our Lady Academy in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi.
You grew up in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that must have been interesting right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How long did you stay there before you got out of there?
Until I graduated high school, and then I went to LSU.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you've never gone back to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi?
Correct.
You're out
Except
of there.
I am tonight.
Tonight you're going back. Why is that?
It's family dinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On a random Wednesday night?
Yeah. My whole family lives there, so I'm the black sheep.
Why do they make you come back on a Wednesday night? Not a Friday when you could get drunk and stay over.
Yeah, I know. It's just it's what works for them.
What do they do there that they have Wednesdays off? Are they own a bar there?
No.
A restaurant?
No, just regular day jobs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you having for dinner?
I think we're having fajitas tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who cooks? Mom or what?
My brother.
Your brother's the cook?
Not really, so I'm...
It's going to be
a little
suspect. Well, at least
I hope he's not watching right
we've
now.
got drinks here. So,
eat somewhere on Maple Street before you go.
So how drunk are you allowed to drive down the I-10 at? And you're...
I'm just going to have one.
Just have the one drink?
Yeah.
Okay, it should be all right.
Yeah.
All right. And look who else is here. I was going to call you Red, but nobody calls you Red, apparently.
It's an old nickname. I would definitely answer to it.
Right.
But
you prefer to be called Doyle.
Yeah, it's not a very common name. And
Doyle Cooper. Doyle Cooper is a great name.
Thank you.
Why don't you call yourself Doyle?
Right.
And you stick with Red.
There you
Everybody
go.
go.
There we go.
Down.
Should
Joe
I be
is
Doyle too?
Well, Joe is your real name, right?
Not really.
Not really.
No, it is.
Is it Joseph originally?
Joseph.
Does anyone ever call you Joseph, like your
I am
mom?
Joseph Warren Garrity IV, so nobody calls me Joseph.
Wow. Joseph Warren Garrity the Fourth.
The fourth.
Wow.
I actually was JoJo growing up, and a lot of my good friends still call me JoJo. You guys can call me JoJo if you want.
Okay, we're going to go with that.
All right.
Yeah.
JoJo, Red, and Felter.
Doyle.
Well, are we going to stick with Doyle? Who's Red then? I could be red.
What are we going to call you? Is the question.
Red.
Red.
I could. Everyone's
This is
going
gonna
around
get
one.
I thought you were
Confusing.
Grant.
Well, yeah, but everyone's got to change their name now. Okay, so Doyle, you have a jazz band called the Doyle Cooper Jazz Band.
I do.
Which is fortunate because that's your name.
Yeah.
And you're a jazz
it just
musician.
so happened to work like that.
Right. That's good. And you have a very. We're sitting outside here, and it's actually hot already.
Yeah.
And you have like a hat with a special
'Cause I'm a
scarf
ginger.
attached to it. Because you get like bad sunburn.
Me and the sun aren't really on speaking terms.
Yeah, right.
We kind of butt heads here and there. It usually wins.
How do you feel about that? Is that annoying?
For somebody that really needs it, I hate putting on sunscreen.
Why? Because it's going to give you
I
cancer?
don't like being greasy.
Yeah.
I don't like the smell of it. So like the sunscreens that really work for me are really expensive.
And you're a jazz musician, so there's the
that kind of doesn't work
there.
well.
Yeah.
But I still do put on sunscreen because I have to, and I don't want cancer.
Well, I think sunscreen gives you cancer. Isn't that right? Felder, do you
There
know
are
that?
some.
I think the sun gives you cancer.
Aha!
There are
That's
some
how it
chemicals
works.
that'll do it
I
too,
thought there
so-
was something in the chemical that in this most sunscreens. Is it DEET? It's called, or is that something else? Is that insect repellent?
That's in insect repellent.
Okay, so what's in sunscreen that gives you cancer?
It's some kind of.
Sea Rock is
I
unfortunately
think
not here.
literally nothing.
Nothing.
I think the answer is literally nothing.
The sun. The sun will give you.
Definitely-
There's,
definitely the harmful
there's
UV
some
rays.
correlation between wearing sunscreen and getting cancer. And it's because people who wear sunscreen go in the sun.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's where the correlation comes
Yeah.
from. Okay, so what is the actual effectiveness of CBD for real?
It just makes you awesome.
But I've tried so many different CBDs and I've had absolutely no effect.
It's because most CBD companies don't actually put CBD in their CBD oil.
Well,
I don't want to say most, but a ton
Would
of
that
them
be
don't.
legal to sell something as CBD?
You
with no
would be
C-
surprised what you can sell in this country without anybody giving you any flack whatsoever.
Really? There's no regulations?
If they don't
There
catch
is very minimal regulation. The regulation in Louisiana, for example, is some of the most stringent in the U.S., but even still, they have no actual requirement that you label your product with the amount of CBD that's in it. You can also use something called hemp seed oil, which has no real medical effect and has been legal for decades, and it does nothing. But people market it, and people take it thinking it's the same thing, and then they think that CBD is snake oil, which we are hoping it's not.
Well, Doyle, have you tried CBD?
a lot. Yeah.
And what effect has it had on you?
It definitely helps with the swelling in my knees. I've had a knee surgery.
Let's have a look at your knee right now.
It's laparoscopic.
It doesn't
2
look
points,
swollen.
2
so
points on that knee.
what'd you do to your
That
knee?
looks like a knee
I
that I want to
was-
rub some CBD on.
I
Let's
was
do it.
hiking in the Swiss Alps with a sousaphone on my back.
Okay, well,
and
you
I
know
was
what? That's not a sentence I've ever heard.
I was either gonna
Say that again.
slip. I was either gonna slip with an $8,000 sousaphone on my back, or I was catching myself. And I caught myself, but my knee kind of went a little too far backwards. Tore my meniscus.
Oh.
Had to hike down the rest of the mountain to the gondola to get down. It was not very fun.
Okay, let's go back to the... Can you smell pot out here right now? Can you guys smell it?
I smell a cigarette.
I thought it's pot.
It'll come and
Thomas,
go.
is that pot? Someone's smoking pot.
Yeah, but some of them was
Ah,
out here
it smells good.
earlier.
Hey,
It'll be back.
Someone was
so-
out here earlier, huh?
Well, it is the Maple Leaf. And it is outside at the Maple Leaf. Listen, so what is a sousaphone? That's the one that goes around you?
Sousaphone is a marching tuba.
That's the one that
It's
goes
the one
around
that
your
you
entire
wear
body.
That
Right, over your
the
head.
bell points forward. A tuba, you sit in your lap, and the bell is pointing straight up.
So the sousaphone is the round one that goes over you.
Yes, you
like
wear
a sort of
you
like
wear a
sash.
sousaphone. You hold a tuba.
Okay.
And why were you wearing it hiking a mountain?
We had a gig at this.
Good question right there.
So we were in Ascona, Switzerland, at the festival there, and we had this gig at this restaurant that was at one of the peaks of the mountains, and you could take a gondola up to like 75% up. Then you had to walk the rest of the path to get up to the restaurant. And we had finished the gig. I had had a few drinks and coming down, and it was not the greatest of times.
So you were climbing down a mountain. With a sousaphone.
We were leaving the gig,
And who
all
booked
fed,
it?
fat and happy, and
Who booked the gig?
I still don't know. The band was sent there, and
How does that work? Who books the gig that you
We-
have to walk down a mountain with a sousaphone? I mean, that sounds like you
well,
need better
the
management.
drummers had their drums too, so there was a bass drum and everything. So I
Don't
didn't
you
feel
think
very
they need-
that
alone.
doesn't help the story. That makes it worse.
I didn't feel very alone, but you know.
Don't you think you need better management at this band? Is this your own band? The Doyle?
No, it's not my band.
What band
It
was this?
It was not my band. We were playing with Soul Brass Band of over in
Soul brass.
European tour. Yeah.
Okay. So you're a trumpet player.
I'm a trumpet player that also plays
a sousaphone.
Yeah.
You're still playing the sousaphone.
I do.
They cost $8,000.
That's just a general price. You know, my sousaphone's from the early 1950s, late 1940s. It's a really nice little sousaphone, and to find that in like perfect condition, operable, you could easily pay that much.
Are they insured?
No.
So
I'm a musician, remember?
So you kind
insurance would cost money.
I wonder what it costs. Well, if you have an $8,000 sousaphone and you're climbing down a mountain, it might be.
Yeah, it might
So
be. Worth
you
it,
need management,
or you just don't fall.
Do you have a manager?
I do.
Well, now how much did you pay for the surgery on your knee?
Luckily,
More than
$8,000.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Personal
Thank you, Thomas.
questions here.
Yeah.
How much
More
did your
than
hat
it-
cost?
I bet it was more.
$20.
I bet you had.
Academy.
I bet your arthroscopic surgery cost more than $8,000.
Not with the insurance that I had.
Aha, you
Medical
do have a
insurance.
medical
Some good
insurance.
insurance.
Yeah, because I mean, mine. I think I have to pay like $8,000 before they pay anything. What do you have, Joe, in the way of health insurance?
I have a plan that became legal only after Obamacare was gutted, and it's very minimal, but
Right.
because I don't have pre-existing conditions, it's also very cheap.
Oh, okay.
So, what you want to tell me?
But you
want
find
the
that
name?
when you come to use it, though, you find that you have to pay the first X $1,000.
It's really an emergency plan for the most
Right,
part.
that's what I mean, yeah.
I think it cost me $5,000 if I were to die or sprain my ankle either way.
Right.
So,
So, Felder, you're a person who goes around the country. You're a professional speaker.
Yes.
This is one of the best bios I've ever read in my life, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You're like the perfect guest of all time.
Thanks.
Listen to this first sentence, you guys. Known by her last name since middle school, well, I could have just known that by reading that. Felder is best known for her positive and authentic perspective on, check this out, these are the subjects we're going to be discussing: unhappiness, healing, and shame. How'd you come up with those three? Unhappiness, you're an expert on unhappiness, healing. I wish Andrew Duhon was here.
What are you, Irish?
Wouldn't it be great if Andrew was here? It's so sad. Andrew Duhon is my co-host who's on the road at the moment.
Is he very unhappy?
He's always going on about how he has debilitating self-doubt.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody does.
Okay, really?
It better.
Yeah.
Do they? Everybody has debilitating self-doubt, and that includes you.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Definitely.
And what are you feeling about yourself right now that you're so doubtful about? How do you think you're coming across?
I'm a little sweaty right now.
I
so-
told you to take your jacket
I
off.
know,
It's
but
too
it's part
hot
of
out
an
here.
ensemble.
You're going to look fine without it. What have you got underneath it? It's just a regular top?
Yeah, but I just I'm good.
You want to go with the look?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't care that you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, I just said a little sweaty.
Are you unhappy being uncomfortable?
I mean, I think that people don't challenge themselves enough to be happier. I think that they get very content with just, whatever's happening. They do the shoulds of life, and then they wake up and they're 55, and it's like, oh, it all passed me by.
Wow.
that is depressing.
But I'm hoping that people won't live that way.
So you go around inspiring people.
I talk to a lot of young people.
It says here you work exclusively with young adults, professionals, and parents to challenge convention and inspire growth. Okay, so who pays you to do that?
Different groups that I talk to.
Could I get that gig?
Yeah.
Well, how do you do it? How do you get on the circuit?
It's a lot of hustling, a lot of cold emailing and outreach, and I have to grow my presence on Instagram and all of that. But I'm also affected by coronavirus because
Are you?
I was supposed to go to Vanderbilt in 2 weeks and it got canceled.
Jesus Christ, why did they cancel that?
They canceled all non-essential student activities, so I guess I'm non-essential.
Wow. Wow, so what were you going to do at Vanderbilt? That's like an Ivy League school, isn't it?
Yeah, ish. So I I worked in higher ed, so it's not technically an Ivy League,
So
but it's a great school.
What is it? What are the Ivy League schools? Are there only like a few of them? There's Harvard, Princeton, Stanford.
Right, like
Brown.
Yale,
Brown, Yale.
Stanford is not
Penn.
Ivy League.
Yeah,
Stanford
Stanford's
is
not
not-
Ivy League.
Stanford's not.
Yeah,
UPenn is.
yeah, Penn.
Oh, okay.
And then
Come on, Grant, get it together.
So I wouldn't have the faintest idea. That's why I thought Vanderbilt was, because I'd heard of it.
no, I mean it's a great school.
What constitutes Ivy League?
It's like
Expensive?
It's like a small league, kind of like the SEC or the ACC. I'm not even joking. Like
How do you get
it's like
into
a
it?
small league of schools.
I don't think you
of
can
just
join.
8 schools.
But they're
Yeah,
self-appointed.
you can't like join the Ivy League.
Yeah,
Right.
They're
you
not
can't-
taking applications.
accepting
Right.
membership.
We
They're
couldn't
barely-
start.
they're barely admitting
We
students.
couldn't start an
They're
Ivy
definitely
League school ourselves, and
No.
you call it the Maple Leaf Ivy League School.
not. I don't
Although
think so.
There are the little Ivies, though.
there are.
Yeah, so those are like smaller elite liberal arts schools that are,
Okay.
you know,
Like
in their own
Brandeis,
class. Yeah.
that kind of place.
Okay, so you were going to go to
Vanderbilt.
to
Yeah.
talk, and what were you going to discuss with the Vanderbilt students?
So they have an organization called Women in Business. So it's young women, freshman, sophomore college students who are studying business. They get paired with a mentor in the community. They do monthly workshops. And so I was going to talk to them about professionalism, and kind of what I talk to young professionals about is it's this tagline of get your shit together and don't take any shit. And so basically
Get your
it's-
shit together and don't take any shit. You get
Right.
2 shits in there.
Right, exactly.
Excellent.
So I'm
Okay.
glad that I could curse.
Is that on your business card?
It's not. TM.
It's a good tagline.
And so basically, you know, a lot of young people,
It's
they
2 different types of shit, though, right?
right, exactly. So they
That's the
either
first.
they either don't have their shit together, or if they do, they're taking shit because they're not standing up for themselves. They're not, you know, advocating for their best interests. So it's kind of how to do both.
Okay, so why does shit have 2 different meanings like that?
Because
You did discuss that in your...
no, but I did want to be an English teacher when I was growing up. So
Well, that would be a good question. Well, how does shit get to have such a sort of interesting, completely distinct meanings like that? Where does get your shit together come from? I wonder.
I don't know.
Laziness?
I could Google it.
I think it's just laziness. People not
Right.
knowing enough words to communicate properly, so using one to use all
Right.
to mean all the words.
I wonder how... But why
It's good
shit?
it's good
which
shit,
is,
really.
Yeah, that's another one.
helpful.
It's strange that the word shit
Yeah.
should be used so liberally for all these different meanings when you think what it is it's not the most attractive thing in the world.
Everybody loves shit, though.
Strictly. Everybody loves shit.
Yeah,
What kind?
that
It
depends.
depending on what you mean by shit, I guess.
Depends what you're into, really.
So many different meanings. It actually works in that phrasing.
Is the
Thank
original
you.
meaning of the word shit feces?
I could Google it.
Well, could you? C. Rockland Willie would be able to tell us that, but he's gone to Los Angeles because he likes to travel on planes when there's an
sounds
international
deadly right now.
pandemic.
He's going to correct Corona. Contract.
He's going to contract it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, okay, so what are you looking up, Lauren? I mean,
okay,
Felter.
It's likely
Sorry.
derived from Old English.
Shite.
Shite, of course. We should have
Yeah.
known.
Comes from dung and diarrhea. So yeah,
Really?
I think it has to do with
It's
feces.
comes
Bad-
from dung and diarrhea.
bad
How did-
shit.
Bad
Yeah.
shit.
What amazing shit.
Yeah. How does the word shit get to be derived from dung and diarrhea? Well, we don't know the answer to that question anyway.
No, it
So-
didn't say that in Wikipedia.
So you're a professional inspirational speaker.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name? What's the most famous guy I'm thinking of? That really...
Tony Robbins?
Tony Robbins. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
Would you liken yourself to Tony Robbins? Other than that, you're a lot shorter.
Yeah, maybe not him.
Who would you liken yourself to then? Who's short?
I mean, like I said, I'm one of a kind, so I don't want
No
to
one.
be. I don't want to be like anyone. I want to be like me.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, but you're in the same business as Tony Robbins. You're going around, standing in front of a
different-
group of people, inspiring
different
them
target
to do
audience.
better.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
curious. Have you ever had like a disastrous speaking engagement where something just ruined you?
You're not supposed to say yes
okay,
to that.
Okay,
Yes,
yes,
please
I
say
did.
yes. I'd like to know.
One time, a woman brought in a
Boa constrictor.
dog. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the word?
Service dog?
Service animal. Yes, and I did not know that the dog was in there, and the door opened. It startled the dog, and all of a sudden, like a bark came out, and I just screamed. I fright very easily, so I just like from the front of the stage, and then got really frazzled and completely lost my train of thought, and it took me a little bit to reset. So
That's pretty good. What
Yeah.
was the woman's problem with the dog? Was it an emotional support animal?
I did not feel that was my place
didn't
to
want to find
pry
out.
into the situation.
You're not supposed to ask about that if people
Let me
have
see
a
some paperwork, miss.
Yeah. Apparently, you're not allowed to ask someone if they have a service animal or an emotional
Yeah.
support animal.
You're allowed to
why
ask
they
them
have-
what it's for.
Are you?
Yeah.
I thought
There
you,
are a couple
I thought
specific
you strictly
questions you
weren't.
can ask.
Okay. So you have a store, right? You have those retail outlets
Yeah,
that
I
sell.
have retail stores too that sell CBD and vape.
Right. So what are they called? Is it Crescent,
Crescent City Vape, and then Simply CBD. is
Right.
the brand that we sell CBD under.
Okay, so when are we going to try the CBD?
You can try it right now.
Let's
if
try
you
it.
want.
Are you up for trying
Well,
it?
can I ask a really dumb question?
How dumb?
Will it get you high?
What do you do with it? Like, do you?
Have you never
put
had it?
No.
Okay, so Doyle
I'm
and I
not-
have both tried.
I'm a square.
It's really
It's-
simple. You just take it and you drop it under your tongue and you hold it there for 30 seconds, as long as you feel like it. And if you have pain,
It's just
or-
like taking acid.
Have you ever taken acid?
No.
No. What
I
about smoked pot?
I did. The last time I did, I was 19, and I had an anxiety attack.
Yeah, that's for
I'm
sure.
a little uptight, so.
You're
So
not
this is-
supposed
it's
to have
funny.
anxiety at 19.
Yeah.
Modern weed, it sounds really weird, but it pretty much doesn't have CBD in it anymore. And CBD is like the calming effect in cannabis. So modern weed has been emphasizing THC content for a
Okay.
really long time.
So we've bred the CBD out of weed.
Yeah.
now?
It's weird. Older folks, and I do my research in other markets, they're asking for weaker pot in a lot of cases. They don't want to take one hit and not be able to walk straight for the
Yeah.
next 3 hours.
That's
they want to be
where
able to
I'm at.
They want to be able to smoke a joint with their friends
Yeah.
and have a conversation
Right.
without losing their minds.
Right. That's
And,
exactly where I am. With all the pot you smoke now, it's like one hit. The good
No
thing-
deal anymore.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a good problem to have.
You think so, but
No, it's
sometimes you
not.
don't want to
You're
get
too
blown. You
fucking
don't want
high.
to get blazed
Yeah.
off your mind. You just want to have a nice time.
That's the
and-
whole thing. Yeah. That's
You don't want to have to leave your friend's wedding because you smoked a
'Cause you're having
joint
a panic
beforehand.
attack.
Yeah.
The thing with alcohol is you can have a couple of sips of alcohol, you can have enough drink to be sort of take the edge off things, but with this strong pot, you're either straight or high as hell.
Yeah.
And there used to
And
be like an in between.
It's one of the problems with a lot of the way that they're legalizing in a number of states, including Louisiana, is that you can only consume it. So it takes a very long time for for THC to
Oh, you mean to
really
the
affect
edible?
you. Yeah.
You're right.
It's actually a tincture that they sell
Right.
in pharmacies down here. So they're making everyone do tinctures, and people are using a little bit and not feeling anything, and then taking a bunch more
Right.
before it's had the full chance to.
Yes.
It's the story. It's where you get these stories where police officers ate an entire tray full of brownies, and then had to call the police, being like, "I'm too high.
Well, we've-
I'm dying."
we've
What
all
happened?
done
police
that.
ate them and then called the
There's
police.
Not,
No, I
not
think
in
there was a-
Louisiana. There are a bunch of stories like this that have happened.
There's a video of a 911 responder getting a call from somebody saying, I'm dying, I've eaten a brownie. And it turns out they eat like a whole pan of brownies and they got too high and started freaking out.
But frankly, who hasn't done
And
that?
it's a police officer.
I think, though, more so, it is more about your tolerance. Because if you are a non-frequent smoker and you smoke a joint with somebody, yeah, you're going to get too high. It's just like somebody that doesn't drink going and
Right.
pounding 2 shots and then saying, wow, I'm drunk. This is new. Like, come on. It's
But
the
what
real
Joe's
problem
talking
you
about
don't-
is
you
the
don't
edibles.
notice until an hour
It-
later.
yeah. Well,
that's the
how
edibles. That's why
alcohol
they-
or whatever
yeah.
affected you.
Well, the
so you
edibles
take
are the
5
problem.
more, thinking I'm so
Yeah.
strong.
Uh-huh.
I don't have these problems, and
You
then
have to
all of a
metabolize
sudden
it.
they're tripping. and
Well,
they-
have you
know.
spent some time in Colorado where they sell a lot of edibles and stuff, or
Yeah,
California?
I've been out there a few times.
So I don't know anything about this, but I haven't been there since this is legal. But they say that like at the ballpark, you can't smoke
You're not supposed to
outside,
smoke in public.
I mean,
but you
people
can buy these edibles, which is 10
But
times
people
stronger.
have these pens. You've seen them, perhaps. They're
Vape
low
pen
battery,
type thing.
vape pen
Yeah.
type things, and you
I
take.
thought it was a USB drive the first time I saw one.
That was probably an electronic cigarette. They have the little round ones that you can smoke pretty much anywhere.
Okay.
And people do. I've seen people smoking them on airplanes, and no
Really?
issues whatsoever. I see people smoking them in restaurants, sitting at their table, and
Yeah.
you can walk right by the police station with them. They're not going to say a word. They look like CBD. They look like legal electronic cigarette products.
Right.
But they are, in fact, getting everyone high all over the place.
But
Far more potent, too.
that's what we used to call a vaporizer. Back in the
so
day.
we still have those. This uses more like of a liquid or a distillate,
So
which
it's-
is an extract from.
And where would I buy
THC.
that?
Your friendly neighborhood drug dealer at this point,
Right.
Or in Colorado.
So if I had it in Colorado, that's legal, obviously. But what I was noticing that I heard them talk about this, people say they sell edibles at the ballpark. So people are taking these gummy bears, which if you've ever done, eaten pot brownies, whatever, it's way stronger than smoking pot.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's like watching baseball, all fucked up as hell, I assume.
And that's how baseball was invented.
Yeah,
It's pretty boring.
baseball.
Yeah.
Not
It's
after
not
you've
like
had
they've
like
ever
14
not
gummy
sold
bears.
beer at the baseball.
Yeah, but pot
Stadium.
makes you, if you eat pot, it makes you much more out of it than drinking a couple of beers at the ball game.
It just depends how much pot you
Doesn't-
eat.
Yeah.
If you eat 1
That's what
milligram
that's my
of
whole
pot,
point
you're
is
not
though
going to
that
feel much.
you
If
buy
you eat 100, you're probably going to
right,
be
but people eat
calling
gummy
the
bears.
police.
Nobody eats a gummy bear. You buy a bag of gummy bears and you eat, 2, 3, or 4 of them.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with
Yeah,
consuming pot.
that's what
is
I'm
that
talking
it's-
about.
It's very difficult to
Okay,
gauge
so
how
now
high
we're
you
going to
are.
try this.
It's
Felter, this is your.
It's trial and error
Try it.
with your.
How long will
for
this
it.
take to wear off?
Is
Because
this
Felter
peer
has to
pressure?
drive home
You
to her
won't really
mom's.
feel
house.
anything unless you have pain.
You're not
you
gonna
do
Yes,
have anxiety.
definitely.
You won't
I
feel
don't-
anything at all anyway,
You'll be
because
relaxed.
it's just
I don't really even
snake
take
oil.
Tylenol, so I think I'll pass.
You don't take Tylenol?
I mean,
I actually don't take Tylenol either.
What do you take?
CBD.
Exactly. This
do you-
is an alternative.
Do you
for-
find it as
My
a,
marketing team's going to
pain
kill me if I don't say that.
do you find that this will actually cure pain? Like a headache?
Yeah, actually, I use it for hangovers, truly.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no joke. That is the one thing that I consistently use that for.
Wow.
I wake up and I'm like, I have drank too much again. It is a terrible Tuesday morning, and I start consuming CBD. I thought the drinking joke would fly on this hangover show, but I guess not. Or I'm sorry, on the happy hour show.
Well, that was a joke. I don't think anyone thought you were joking.
I wasn't really.
Well, so are you saying that this
thought
doesn't
you
really
were
cure?
here
This
last
does
it
not
does.
cure
No,
hangovers.
no, it does. It does. I
Right.
was joking about being hungover on a Tuesday morning.
Oh, okay.
Usually.
Oh, I thought that was serious. Okay. Okay, so Felter, you're too scared to try this in case you get weirded out.
I don't know that scared is the word.
Okay,
I think
fear is not it.
no
What-
interest. No offense.
No, of course
No
not. Like I said,
interest.
I really don't use it, to be quite honest, very often myself. But people who have,
You don't use
most
CBD
of the
very
reason
often, and
that
you're
I
a
can,
professional.
honestly, most of the reason we recommend this stuff is because we've given it to so many people, and they've told us that it is no joke, life changing. And I don't feel that way about it personally because I don't need to have my life changed because I don't have a ton of pain or like hard
no, but
anxiety.
would you like
some
to change
people
your?
do.
Would you like to change your life, Felter? Come on, wouldn't you?
Listen,
I'm pretty
Would
good.
you like to be
you know
taller?
Bobby Hebert, right? We have billboards of him saying it changed my life. That's like literally his tagline for
Really?
our product.
The Cajun Cannon.
It might be because we gave him a bunch of money. But I don't know.
Okay, so how will it change your life?
If you have bad pain or crippling
Well,
anxiety
he was an
Football
NFL
player.
football player,
Yeah.
and they are often in extreme pain.
I'm kidding. I mean, he actually does have
and then
issues
Felder,
with
Felder
that
has
and-
debilitating self-doubt. Constantly.
As we all do.
I don't believe that. Do you have debilitating self-doubt, Doyle?
I wouldn't say it's debilitating because I've learned to fight through it because getting on stage in front of thousands of people at times can be pretty scary, but you have to learn how to deal with it. And but there's definitely self-doubt. There's absolutely
What do you
100%
mean?
of the time.
What do you mean by debilitating? It's debilitating. It can't be.
I think debilitating is when self-doubt stops you from doing something.
Right.
Or keeps you from even trying it in the first place. I think a certain amount of self-doubt is healthy because if you're too sure of yourself, sometimes you'll skip over steps or not give it the proper attention or attitude that you need to it. And self-doubt kind of makes you question yourself to a certain extent and make sure that you're doing it properly, at least in my
It
experience.
drives you. As a
Yeah.
human, you can't have no self-doubt or no anxiety. You have to have some.
I definitely feel that.
Grant, I think you're the only person I've ever met in my entire life who didn't openly admit to feeling crushing self-doubt at all the time.
I never.
That I didn't-
Asher,
Crushing is the key word there. I don't feel crushing
well,
self-doubt,
exactly,
but I
like-
feel, of course, occasionally you're like, is this idea going to work? It's good to
Well,
second-guess
no,
yourself.
Right.
that's different. Doubting an idea or doubting an artistic, ability. Or am I good enough to play this song, or should But to walk around with self-doubt about your own existence and your own worth on Earth, that seems to me to be an order quite different. That I don't believe most people are walking around with, except Andrew swears they are, and now you say they are, and you're a professional.
I think it manifests in like self-consciousness and security. Like, I don't think that anyone wakes up every day and they're like, I can do whatever I want. I can wear whatever I want. I mean, why do you put on the clothes that you do? Why do you have the job that you do? It's because you're worried about all these other things that people think about you. And I think that's ultimately
That's why you do.
self-doubt.
You don't really mean that though, because you're not doing the job you're doing because you're worried about what I think about you. Surely
Not anymore.
you were originally.
Yeah.
What did you do before you became an inspirational speaker?
So I worked at LSU. I did marketing for a while in the admissions office, and then I was over our technical systems for admissions.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you were like a big deal.
I mean, I guess.
You had a career,
Yes, yeah.
and you turned your back on all that.
Yes.
Did you do it in a sort of dramatic fashion? Did you wake up one day and think, I just can't take this anymore?
No, it was like 2 years of, I can't take this anymore, and then ultimately, okay. And I think the quitting is never as dramatic as you think it's going to be.
Right, because no one actually cares.
True.
Accurate, yeah.
Pretty true, right?
Yeah.
You think you're indispensable,
Yeah, I
and then
went
they're like,
back-
oh, okay, well,
And if they
when's
do,
your
they're gonna
last
offer
day?
you a lot more money to
Yeah.
stay.
Right. I went back to my office, I closed the door, and I cried, and I was like, well, I guess I made the right decision, but that wasn't like the Michael Scott, you have no idea how high I can fly moment that I was looking
Right.
for.
You're not going to start
Yeah.
the Michael Scott Paper Company? Or the,
That's what I refer to.
Dunder Mifflin.
That's what I refer to my business as sometimes. Because my friends are like, "What do you do for money?" And I'm like, "Oh, Michael Scott Paper Company. Like, don't worry about it."
But somebody who quits their job to do something else is kind of okay. I mean, that's a brave thing to do, actually.
Yeah.
But to quit your job with nothing to do and then decide to go out and inspire other people.
Well, I had some things
That's-
lined up. I have a part-time job that kind of keeps me afloat.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, you must have a lot of confidence to do what you do. So that's why I'm trying to get at that you really are not debilitated by self-doubt.
Yeah,
Mike.
like I am confident, but there are definitely a lot of times that, I mean, like yesterday when my gig got canceled and just things didn't seem to be going my way and I was really upset, and then I was in Atlanta, so I flew back, and so on the plane I was just, took that time to think
Crying.
about, and I was like, well, everybody's going to be really bored because they're going to be quarantined for coronavirus, so I'm just going to put out a ton of content and then hopefully,
Yes.
get my exposure while
Okay.
do you
everybody's just...
do a lot of online inspirational speaking?
No, because you don't want to give away the farm.
Yeah, right.
Must
You want them to
promote yourself,
come. Yeah,
like-
so Instagram, and I'm starting to get a lot of really good traction on LinkedIn. So yeah.
Well, that's because but you're not an inspirational person for people in business necessarily, right? like
No,
Tony-
but they're the ones that book me.
They
So I
can-
have to gain
right.
their trust and their credibility. But I do a lot of blogging. So
Okay,
on,
so what are you
fun
going to do
things.
now that people are going to be trapped at home? Because is this really going to happen in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think that the whole country is going to shut down for 2 weeks, and then we're going to realize nobody's making any money and we're all depressed, and then it's going to be like, okay, go back to work, do something.
Okay, that's a crazy
know.
sentence right there. The whole country is going to be shut down for 2 weeks.
I mean,
do you really
in
believe
a
that?
sense, I think, somebody does it, and then they're like, well, this school system closed, and now we have to close, and it's just a snowball
How
effect.
Well, that is
fix
what's
this
happening.
elsewhere. That's how you
That
fix
is what's happening.
something from
There's a
spreading.
public health
Tell people to
crisis.
stay away from each other,
Right.
away from large gatherings.
Right.
Give it a few weeks.
So what should we do? Should we continue to do happy hour?
Loyola
What?
just moved to online classes.
Oh,
so
shit.
did
Tulane did
UNO.
too.
Tulane, yeah.
Tulane said they're sending
Two
everyone home
lanes.
soon.
They
Yeah.
all-
Two lanes.
Shifting
So there's a
them.
That's
big
what the kids are saying
opportunity
at the
for
vape
you
stores
here,
anyway.
Lauren.
Right, exactly.
I mean, Felter, sorry.
It's
I see.
okay.
I crossed the word Lauren out here.
I know.
even. There's a big opportunity, I think, here.
Yeah.
We started a Facebook page called Trapped at Home. You could join that. It's a quarantine community. You could be like a public speaker on our Trapped at Home quarantine community page.
I think it's going to be great for the introverts of the world.
Musicians
One's
are
better.
going to kill it.
Not too good
Yeah.
for
Well,
you.
See,
You
the
should
problem
just
is
Facebook Live all your gigs.
There's a lot of corporate gigs that are getting canceled because the conventions that are coming in are being canceled. I don't know if the club gigs are going to get messed up necessarily. Obviously, crowds are going to start to diminish a little bit when people are not flying into New Orleans and coming out to Bourbon Street. And
Right.
but in general, there's actually a friend of mine's his entire European tour got canceled out of fright of getting corona. And
Are they cancelling it because they don't want to get the band infected
There's-
with the disease, or they think
there's
no one's going to go?
festivals that they're going to play at that have gotten canceled.
Right.
There's a festival in Italy. I didn't sign up for it this year, but the last 3 years I've been over in Europe for a European tour, and we end in Italy most of the time, and at Ravenna Beach, and they're all in self-quarantined. They're asking for non-essential things. If you don't need to go to the grocery store to get food to not starve, stay in your home, basically.
Right. So is there an opportunity for you to entertain people in their homes? Like, have you got a trumpet here somewhere?
I do.
I could get it out right now. Because we have 3 people listen to this podcast.
5.
Andrew Duhon's mom listens to it. Said she might not listen to this
I
one
was
because.
going to be very disappointed if I came to the Maple Leaf and didn't hear some music.
So here you
this
go.
is fantastic.
So look,
I'm
how much
excited.
is this trumpet worth before we make you climb up a hill?
This one I got for free. I won a trumpet competition.
Free trumpet. Okay.
How
do you win
however,
it?
if you were to buy it, it's roughly like $3,000.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
30.
Man, nice. And how did you learn to play this?
I wanted to play the drums as a kid, but my babysitter for a number of years had a trumpet. We had a old busted up clarinet and a saxophone and stuff at home, but if I couldn't play the drums, I was definitely not going to play the clarinet. As a little boy, you think, I'm not playing the clarinet.
Maybe the flute would be good for you.
Well, I made the jokes a long time ago when I see all the drummers and the tuba players carrying. I was like, don't you wish you played flute? And then I started playing sousaphone. And somebody made that joke to me, and I'm just like...
So where did you grow up?
I grew up here in New Orleans.
In New Orleans. So when you say my babysitter has a trumpet, my babysitter had a trumpet.
She just had a trumpet at her house that I guess she played when
So
she
when's
was in
the
high school
I thought
or
the
something.
babysitter would come to your house. You went to the babysitter's house.
Well, my parents liked to party, and so they would drop me off for the day, and
Well, they go and get fucked up, and then
They're partying during the day or partying at
well,
night?
like they would party
Starting at
during
3.
the day.
Day
want
partying
to
is
sleep
fun, don't get me
over.
wrong.
Like they frequent the Maple Leaf.
what do they do now? Your parents, are they dead or
No,
they
they're
managed to
still
survive
around.
this lifestyle?
They
My
made it.
mom.
Conversation.
So,
They dead or still alive?
so they survived
my
a
parents
lifetime of
coronavirus is
partying.
coming.
Royalty
You
of
know.
moms, and I don't know if anybody's been to the
Mom's
Mom's
Ball?
Yeah,
11 years in a row, man.
yeah, man.
I love
My
that
my
place.
dad was king of last year, and my
These
mom
people
was
like to
queen
party.
of
Yeah, I think no,
2016.
that is no joke. He said
That-
they like to
Yeah.
party. If you're the king of moms at any point in your
Yeah.
life, you like to party.
That's hardcore.
The rest of us are just catching
So
up.
there's a lot of acid at the mom's ball, right? Do they acid swallow?
Sounds like you've been to the mom's ball.
Yeah, I know. All right. When I first came here, I didn't know what it was.
Whatever you choose to do, you can find there.
Right. So what do your parents do? Are they in the music business? As well?
My dad used to play music until he went into woodworking and chopped off a little bit of his finger.
Oh.
But he was making far more money doing old 18th century restoration and woodworking.
Didn't
and
stop Dr. John.
No. But Dr. John could use his finger. He was a guitar player more so, and that was his fretboard finger.
It did stop Dr. John playing the guitar, actually.
That's true.
It
You're
made
not-
it-
you guys are right, that
I
technically
played a
it
gig
did.
with Dr. John a few years before he passed, and he got up and played a single song on guitar, and it was possibly the greatest thing ever.
Wow. And he
Because I never thought I would see him play guitar, let alone being on stage with me playing
How cool
guitar.
is that?
Yeah, I was.
Where was the gig?
Blown away. We were in Covington, Louisiana, of all places.
Wild.
didn't he live over there?
I mean, maybe, but it was a weird. It was a fundraiser, and it was the weirdest gig. They said, "Dude, you're gonna play with Dr. John," and I was just like, "Oh, okay, all right, yeah, okay, y'all." I've gotten so many gig opportunities where they're like, "We got this big name person coming in," and they never show up. But lo and behold, Dr. John walked in, took the guitar player from the guitar player's hand, wanted to play it, and just like, okay.
How
The guitar
cool.
player's just
All
like, here, here, take it quick.
Wow. That's cool. So you learned to play the trumpet because you had a babysitter. Well, basically because your parents were big parties and they dumped you off at the babysitter's place with the trumpet. So it all
very
sort of worked out, really.
Well, also my dad was working. He actually started the boat show here in New Orleans with a few other people, and
You started the boat show.
he like the wooden boat.
Yeah. The Wooden Boat
The
Festival
wooden
over
boat
in
festival over on the
Medicine-ville.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And
It's an
my
interesting
mom was
guys.
a nurse, so
Okay.
so on top of that, now she
Can your
doesn't
dad
nurse
and I be
anymore.
friends?
Yeah, he's. I'm
I
sure.
like
I'm sure
all the
you've
things
met
he's
him.
saying. Festivals,
I'm-
music,
I'm
mom's ball,
Boat.
Sure
dropping
you
your
have
kids
met
off
him.
and not caring about
Yeah.
it.
If you've seen a guy in tie-dye overalls and tie-dye with long hair and a beard,
Tie-dye Roger?
he hangs out with Roger Dodger
Okay.
all the time.
All right. All right.
You know a guy named
I
Tyler
like it. Wait, you don't know
Okay.
Tie-Dye Roger?
You don't know Roger Dodger?
You must not live in New Orleans, sir.
Come
That's
on,
great.
man.
Or you must not party like some of
You
us
must
do.
not come to the Maple Leaf.
Yeah, right?
He lives like a block over.
So what's your dad's name?
Joe.
Joe.
I'm
There
his
you
show.
go.
This is
Come on.
He is just
Small
Joe
world.
though. On his birth certificate,
I'm Joe
it's
Joe, so I won't
J-O-E.
get confused.
It's just Joe.
Perfect.
So he wasn't
Just
called
Joe?
Joseph. It was.
No.
He was.
There's no last
Chris-
name.
I mean, there is that.
He's just Joe.
But he's not Joseph. He's just Joe.
Oh, okay.
Joe Cooper.
I've never
Joe
met a
Cooper?
Joe. I got a good name store if you want to hear one.
Yeah.
One of my buddies just started working with a realtor of mine. He has a friend who's been named Patrick for his entire life. And I think when he was 19 or 20 or 21, he applied to dental school, something like that. And the person taking his application was like, Partik. He goes, no, it's Patrick. She goes, no, Partik. And they're like, nope, it's Patrick. And she shows him his birth certificate that he had to provide and his social security card, and it all says Partik on it.
It's a typo.
Partick.
So it's like a typo.
It's a typo, but it's existed his entire life, and no one's noticed until he was 20-something years old. So now he just goes by Partik.
Wow.
He thought his name was Patrick. It's not. His
Just-
parents were like, "You're the third child."
They weren't paying attention.
We weren't paying attention.
We didn't care.
That's actually what they said.
Is this? Do you think that's true? This is like one of these
No,
urban
it is-
myths.
I met him. I met him.
3
It is
degrees
Have
true.
you seen the
separation.
Partik
I have seen it.
document?
It is
Okay.
true.
Wow. Okay.
Did he not notice when you got his driver's license?
Everyone it's one of those things you see, and I guess no one ever.
It's like red
they
dress,
either
blue
assumed
dress,
it was
or
a
whatever
typo
that thing was.
or
At a
misread
quick
it.
glance, you don't really. All the letters are there. Your brain automatically just says, "Oh,
When
it
he
must
told
be."
me
But
the
I-
story, I didn't believe it.
I am
and then I met
reassured-
Partik, and
Yeah.
he was like, "It's true."
It's
Here's-
reassuring that a dentist found it,
Yeah,
because he wanted someone who's
Dental
a
school.
dental person to have some sort of eye for detail.
yeah.
I'm sorry, we
He's
filled the
actually
wrong
going
tooth.
to be a dentist, so it was the
He's-
people that were going to license him.
So
to be a
he's
dentist.
so he's on the way to dental. He's
Yeah.
at dental school
I
now.
think he's at dental school now.
Dr.
yeah.
Partik.
Dr. Partik.
That's a pretty good story. Okay, so when you got this trumpet from the babysitter, so I've never really asked anyone this question before, but I mean, it seems to me a very difficult instrument to play because it's only got these 3 valves here. So how the hell do you start out getting a sound out of it? Can you teach Joe how to play a note?
You sound terrible when you first start out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know because the whole Corona thing.
Oh, you don't want someone
that's
touching
not-
you. No. Good point.
Oh, I do have.
We could. We
You
could.
know what?
You have a backup trumpet?
You got a backup
lots,
mouthpiece.
maybe a kazoo.
We could put it in.
Lots.
We've got vodka here by the mile. We could. What is this thing?
It's an extra mouthpiece.
That looks like a.
It's actually a cool little mouthpiece. It's a plastic.
It's like a
it's
kazoo
actually
type
it's a hard rubber. What they make the sax mouthpieces out of, with a metal shank on it. But
Huh.
so basically, you make like you're humming the word M, or the letter M. You pull the corners back, and then you blow through while.
You ready? You gonna try this, Felter?
Sure.
Come on.
I feel like I tried this in middle school and it didn't work.
Felter's gonna do it. Okay.
Oh wait, I'm putting my mouth.
Yeah,
on
you're
that?
No.
She's ready
So-
to watch someone try this.
There you go.
So
You want me to try?
you, so
I haven't tried this
Felter,
in like
you don't want to try the
20
CBD or the trumpet,
Correct.
and you don't think that's fair.
Pinky there, yeah.
That's
You think that's not-
Ring
debilitating
finger in the
self-doubt.
ring. This hand.
What do you think is going to
This ring
happen to you?
finger.
Embarrass myself in front of all 5 listeners.
That isn't. Yeah. That, well,
Want me to
there's
do this
a
or should I-
maximum
Sure.
of 5.
I got my normal mouthpiece.
That's on a
Go,
good day.
And I pull the outsides back.
Whoa. You
I got
did
something,
it.
right?
Yeah,
You
gotta
got
know
something out of it. That's
You're
not
welcome.
bad. How's that for a first lesson?
I'll be here later.
Yeah.
I'll be here later
He'll
playing.
be playing at the Maple Leaf later.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
So
I actually play drums a little bit.
Do you? Okay.
Poorly.
We could hit the table. Okay, so
Alright.
let's. What are you going to play for us? I know you can't play an entire song here, but What's
but
a-
I'll just play
what's a
the
good-
cadenza to.
what's a good coronavirus type?
St. James Infirmary.
Da, da,
You
da,
must know
da,
that.
da,
You
that's
must
a
know
good
St. James
idea.
Da, da,
Infirmary.
da, 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 Corona. Da, 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 da.
Do you think they'll?
Corona.
I'll play the one of the more famous Louis Armstrong quotes from West End Blues. And I got them muted so it's not terribly loud.
Okay.
I think mine was better.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. How long did it take you to learn that?
I think
Is that
I
that
learned-
looks hard to play?
It's not easy. But I started learning it with the help of a friend at like 14, 15 or so.
Right.
were you able to just like play it a little bit when you started?
So when a funny story when I
Were you as bad
first,
as me?
Well, when I was really young, I was probably like I want to say 7 or 8 when my landlady was wanting to take a nap because her allergy medicine made her sleepy.
You had a landlady at 7.
I don't think
Hang
not,
on a
not
minute.
my babysitter, not landlady.
Back to the babysitter. Okay, all right.
Babysitter was
Same
sleeping.
babysitter.
I don't think it was allergy medicine. I was thinking it was like now thinking about it, knowing the smell and everything of
The babysitter was high.
Basically, probably.
Your parents were out partying and they dumped you off with a babysitter who was
But,
also.
She was having a good time.
She could have been drunk. She could have been messed up on something else.
If you're gonna play Legos, you might as well
Exactly.
be high.
But she said, "Here, kid, play with this," and she hands me the trumpet. And this is during Jazz Fest.
Is she a musician?
So
This person? by the way?
No.
Okay.
So she lived right. Her backyard is attached to the fairgrounds fence. So there's people walking, hundreds and hundreds of people walking by, and I'm out there. I don't know how to play the trumpet, so I just go. And I'm doing it in the rhythm of like Second Line and When the Saints Go Marching In, and all these people passing by said, "Ooh, what a cute kid!" And they throw enough, and I made enough money to take me and my mom to Jazz Fest, both tickets, paid for 2 lemonades and 2 crawfish breads, and we went and sat down, and that was the start of the trumpet. I was hooked. It was great.
Wow, what a great story. You do know, of course, that if you have a house with a fence that's on the edge of Jazz, you can just get over the fence
In theory,
rather than having
you
to learn
could
to play the
just-
trumpet.
Do people still tell you how cute you are when they give you money?
There are a few people that are under the influence of alcohol that are like, "You're cute." And then I'm just like, "Oh God, you're drunk."
Okay, so how's your knee doing? Is it not painful anymore? Because we haven't tried any CBD yet.
My other knee is hurting more so than the surgically repaired one.
Really? What do you put that down to?
I've been playing a whole lot of disc golf lately and walking a whole lot more.
Did you say disc?
Can you take carts for disc golf?
You can.
Wait, really?
Not like golf carts.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, because most of the courses are not quite as long as a ball golf.
Do you know what
I'll go
disc
play
golf
golf
is?
if I can take or
You
disc
wanna
golf if I
ask
can
him
take
what
a
it
cart.
is?
It's
What is disc golf?
Thank you.
So disc golf is golf, but with modified frisbees. People say frisbees, but frisbees are the ones that you throw back and forth and catch. If I were to throw one of the discs that I throw with in disc golf, it'd probably break your hand. It's like super thin. It weighs more than the bigger frisbee, so
Do you throw it or do you
Yeah.
hit it with like a stick?
you throw it.
Okay.
It's thrown. There's a professional tour, like the most winning player makes like $500,000 a year playing disc golf.
Like the LeBron of disc golf.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, I'd never heard disc golf in my life. And you've never heard of it either,
No.
right?
It started in like the early 70s, late 60s.
But it's
Is
not-
that what Andy Bernard plays when he says, "I live to
Yes.
frolf"?
Yes.
Okay.
Frolf?
No.
Frolf is frisbee golf.
Oh, okay.
But most people that are serious about it don't call it a frisbee because it's
So
not
Andy
a frisbee.
Bernard wasn't.
So you watch The Office a
serious.
lot too, huh?
Yeah. Second reference.
Okay. So how did you get into disc golf?
Some older musicians that I play with that no longer
The babysat you.
pretty much. No, these guys taught me how to play traditional jazz, but I had heard a couple times that they had played. I went out and played it a couple times as a kid, like with friends, but never got serious into it. And nowadays it's a reason to get off the couch and go walk around. And
All right. And
I
where is
got a
it?
tournament on Saturday.
Come
actually.
on. Have they canceled that, or is that okay?
No,
Because you're probably far enough away from each other.
Sort of, yeah, but it's also a lot of these guys don't. This is not filtered, right?
No.
They don't give a fuck about coronavirus. A lot of these old guys are out there drinking beer, don't give a fuck about it.
that won't stop them getting killed by it, though. That your attitude has not really got anything to do with the virus.
I will have like 4 things of hand sanitizer with me, and I'll
But
be
you're not
like,
going to
"You
get
want
it.
spritz?
But
You
you're
want
not going to
spritz?"
get it. But if these guys are they really old? Because that's who's
I
going to
mean,
get it.
to a certain point, like there's a division for like 60 and up, but there's only like 20 people that play in it. Most of the people are
What division are you in?
around. Since
It's
this
by
is only
age?
my. When you get
like-
older, it's by age because your distance starts getting lower, and
You have to throw this thing like a discus.
yeah, I mean, there's
How far can
It's
you?
organized really
so
similar
like
to real
the
to
max
normal
that
golf.
I could probably
Okay.
throw is like 350 feet.
Jesus, that's a long way.
That is a pretty good long way.
350 feet.
There's a course on the West Bank that actually has a couple of par 5s with like 800-foot holes that are.
There's actual courses here.
Yes, there's a
And
professionally
What do
styled
you
course.
throw it into?
So
like
there's
a net?
Yeah,
it's
right.
a basket. It's a pin with chains hanging down and a metal basket under it. So you're hitting.
Wow.
You want to hit the chains and drop into the basket.
And there's 18 holes like golf.
There's 18 holes in most courses. Some of them have more.
Okay, so how high are these people doing this? Is it like a stoner thing?
There is a
Seems
pretty
like it.
there
Does
is
your
a
old
pretty good
babysitter do
correlation
it? Yeah.
between disc golfing and smoking of marijuana.
There is, right. There's got to be.
There's a pretty good percentage of people, especially in a laissez-faire city like New Orleans.
I'm surprised I've never heard of this in that case.
There's a disc golf course in City Park that I play a lot. There's one in Lafreniere over in Metairie.
You know this, Joe?
That's 24 holes, and then
24 holes.
Yeah.
How long does
that's-
it take you to get around?
24 holes will probably take you about 3 hours.
And you're walking the whole way.
It's like 3 miles of walking.
And is this like a multi-purpose facility, or is it only for
City
disc
Park,
golf?
it's actually in one of the old retired, like old ball golf courses. So it's
Ball golf.
nothing.
You
We
have
call
to
it ball golf.
differentiate. Ball golf.
Qualify
We
Yeah.
call it ball golf
Okay.
just to make it.
I'm insulted.
Talking of ball golf, I wanted to ask you a question, because I've got this bio of yours here, Felter. It says you're inspired to join the sex positive movement.
Yes.
I've heard people. I had someone come to me and talk to me about making a podcast about sex positive.
Uh-huh.
And I'd never heard of anything alternative to sex positive. I thought all sex was positive. And when I said that to her, I've never heard from her again.
So
Consensual sex.
So what is exactly sex positive compared to what the rest of us think about sex?
So basically, in the 90s, there was a lot of federal funding that poured into schools and just different nonprofit organizations to teach abstinence-only sex education. And so that's when you saw the rise of like purity rings, purity pledges, like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake and Jessica Simpson saying, you know,
How'd that go
I'm
for
going to
them?
wait until marriage to have sex, like those sorts of things.
That was a threesome. Jessica Simpson, Justin Timberlake, and Britney Spears.
Yeah, independent
They
of
all-
each other.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they said, you know, pop stars, basically.
They weren't in a couple,
And
the three
so
of them.
it was very shaming, and it was very, you know, this is a bad thing. And so now there's a movement of people who want to teach their children, like, that sex is not a bad thing, and that, you know, you shouldn't be ashamed of your body, your sexuality, your self-expression, you know, all these sorts of things.
So that's what you're doing now, in lieu
Yes.
of parents.
Yes.
You're telling people that.
So I have not started speaking on that yet, but eventually
We can do it
I
right
want
now if
to
you want.
speak to parents about that. How to talk to
Okay.
their kids about more than just don't do this because it's bad, but like what, you know, healthy dating practices, what the purpose of dating is, healthy relationships, all of that.
How do you know this sort of stuff? Did you go back to school and do some sort of...
I read a lot of books, I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of self-education. But I have a master's in leadership and human capital development, so like
Wow.
training, you know, organizational psychology, change management, which kind of sort of relates.
Right.
So yeah.
And do people ask you about what's your personal background for a sort of,
Like
you know, for like credibility
right.
purposes?
It's funny. I was talking to someone yesterday and they were like, you don't have kids, like why do you I mean, I think that what credibility does the parent have on something?
No, I don't think you have to
versus
have
reading
kids
a
to be in
book,
it.
you know?
No, I don't think you have to actually have your own kids. But do people ask you what your, you know, are you married, for example? Are you single?
I'm single.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you in a relationship?
I'm not. I'm single.
Right. All
That's
right.
what single means.
Oh, okay.
If you're sex positive, maybe you have relationships where you're not. You're
I didn't
single,
know.
but-
Yeah. Is that by choice?
I mean, yeah. If I wanted to be married, I could be married, but I think it goes along with, kind of like the unhappiness thing. I think it's
What do
easy
you
to
mean?
get married.
To try
What's
and
more difficult
right.
is to be married and to be happy.
Right. Well, being
my
happy itself is
opinion.
the goal. I mean, that's why one of the reasons why people want to fall in love is they think it's going to make them happy. Does it, in fact?
I think it depends on where you are in your life when you enter the relationship and how you handle yourself throughout the relationship.
Well, as an expert on unhappiness, what is the secret to happiness?
That happiness is not a checklist.
It's not a checklist.
So it's not like if I do this, this, and this, I will be happy. It's a constant state of reassessing and reevaluating. Where am I in my life? What's not going well? What do I need to change? What do I need to make better?
And that will make us happy if we're just aware.
I like that.
Is that what you're saying? Self-awareness is all it takes.
Yeah, like self-awareness and self-assessment and then actually doing something about it. So like,
Okay.
my job isn't making me happy. This relationship isn't making me happy. Doing something about it.
And what would you do about it? Except for getting out of it.
You can
Or
go to
improve it,
therapy.
I
You
suppose,
can
right.
seek resources like, read a book, listen to a podcast. You can communicate about it in a healthy way.
Okay.
Listen to me speak.
Right. So if we listen to you speak, will that make us happy? Or will we just take the CBD with like a single?
So this will make
few
you happy
drops.
right here.
Right. I think we should try it.
You've heard of drugs, right?
Get a group
Come on.
of people and see if they listen to me speak and if they take the CBD
We'll
oil.
do like a test.
Who's more likely to get
Okay.
coronavirus?
I like this.
Okay, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do about this coronavirus? We've only got 1 minute. We have to get out of here. Do you have some sort of plan to
I
deal
do,
with this?
yeah.
What's your plan?
Well, I'm developing a platform on the side that I can do from the safety of my home
Okay.
to help people who are going through a hard time.
Okay, that'd be cool. So we can get in touch with you by Zoom or Skype or something, and have like a session with you.
No.
So
it's
how will it
it's
work?
something that I will sell.
Oh.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
can't tell you much more than that.
Okay. Well, are you on it? Because we're all going to have to stay home pretty soon, apparently. When are we going to start this staying home business?
I work for myself, so
Right.
I'm
Whenever you say.
right.
But they're already telling you can't go to Vanderbilt. There's one
right,
cancellation.
yeah. But I'm here.
So, right. Oh, well, we're all here, but I mean, are we going to have to stop doing this?
Wait, you guys are getting paid for this?
Didn't you get your check? Are we going to have to stop doing happy hour?
I mean, I think it would be like, so I was supposed to go to Italy in 2 weeks, and like the Italian government, basically quarantine, like you were saying, quarantined the whole country. So I think it would be like the government would put like, around hurricanes, like a curfew or something.
Oh, so
like
we
that.
won't be allowed to do this.
I think the
Built
quarantine
different
is mostly voluntary, with the exception of like essential stuff. Or I'm sorry, for essential stuff.
Right.
Right. Like you have to go. You can't go to large public gatherings over a certain number of people. You can't go to work. You can't go to anywhere that's not essential. So,
I'm
yeah.
just hoping the festivals don't get shut down.
America's so different than Europe. You can't just tell Americans not to do something. They're
Right.
gonna be like, all right, we're all doing it.
Well, they're
I
going
know.
to shut down Jazz Fest for sure. That's 100%.
We're just gonna go hang out at the
guaranteed,
track.
don't you think? Are you playing at Jazz Fest this year?
I am. I'm actually opening the last day at the. Or I'm supposed to open the last day.
Yeah,
at the,
I don't think that's going to happen. Do you think that Shell is going to want their name on a festival that's going to
Right, like
transmit?
nobody wants to be like patient zero or
I,
organization
if,
zero.
if they end up shutting it down, I hope they do like Coachella and say, yeah, we're going to do it later on in the year. Like Coachella said they're
Could
going
you
to
even imagine
they're
that
gonna do it in
real-
October.
In the
football
fall,
season
man.
How
and
real is
Jazz
that?
Fest, how would that even happen?
But how real is that you
It's
get
either 100 degrees or 95 degrees.
That was Joel coughing on us. Dude, that was... You're just giving it all to us. We've all got coronavirus.
You're all.
If we get it now,
Take the
it'll be over
CBD.
by Jazz Fest.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Happy Hour has been brought to us today by Basics on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. Basics underneath sells fine lingerie, and Basics Swim and Gym has a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with styling by the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of the arts, music, culture, and heritage. And also, if you'd like to be a member of our Patreon family, do you know about Patreon? Are you on that? You go to patreon.com and you search for It's New Orleans Happy Hour, and for as little as $1, you can become a member of our Happy Hour family here at It's New Orleans. Well, listen, I don't know what we're going to do, whether we're going to keep on making Happy Hour or we're not.
You could do it remote.
We could do it remotely. I could do it from my
Skype it.
house, and we could all be at home. And
You could have everybody. We're on mics anyway. You might as well have us sitting like 20 feet apart.
I guess we could all stay. I don't know whether are they going to shut. Dude, you're not looking too good.
Come on.
I just watched Zombieland 2 last night, which is kind of funny because they all start coughing and then turn into zombies.
From Zombieland 2.
Haha, we're all gonna die.
All right. Well, Doyle Cooper, where can we find you, given that we're relatives still go out to a club or...
I play every Friday night at the Bourbon O from 8 to midnight. Also, I play with another band at the same place on Thursday nights.
What's that called? What's the name of this place? The Bourbon what?
The Bourbon O Bar.
Bourbon O.
It's attached to the Bourbon Orleans Hotel.
Oh, the Bourbon Orleans. Okay, right there. Oh, that's cool. That's a good gig. So that's mostly
it's literally
tourists.
right across the street from the Hand Grenade place. And
awesome.
as you look through the window sipping your nice cocktail, you can see people getting bourbon-faced on Shit Street.
All right. Well, I guess that's going to come to an end because there won't be anybody walking down Bourbon Street.
Well, I think
true.
if you drink certain beverages that I'm not going to promote, that your immune system should be fine.
Corona. It's in the name.
Ironically. Joe Garrity, thank you so much for being here as well. So the name of the product is Crescent CBD.
Yes.
And we can buy it everywhere online or only at your shop?
200 stores in Louisiana. If you want to
200?
support my stores, you can support Simply CBD.
Okay.
Which we have 5 locations around New Orleans.
Simply CBD.
And if you want to buy some real estate, Satsuma Realtors, we just rebranded, and we are ready to go.
You are Satsuma Realtors?
Yes.
Why do you have to do all these things? Wouldn't you make enough money?
I get bored very easily.
Really?
Yeah.
Are
I
you
just like
super,
starting
Are you
things.
super rich?
I also have a marketing company. I'm sorry, Natalia Matajana.
Yes.
Kita & Co. is the name of it.
How do you spell that?
Kita.
Kita & Co.
Yeah. It's named after my dog. She's almost 15, so she doesn't have much time left. You better hurry up.
Aw. Poor thing.
Yeah.
What sort of dog is she?
Siberian Husky.
All right. Oh, they're cool dogs. Does she talk a lot?
Yeah, she does. She can say "Who dat?"
That's awesome.
I wish you'd brought
That
her
is
with you.
Fucking awesome.
I should have. She's actually in my
A
office. I take
talking
her
dog.
everywhere. Yeah.
She could have come here, right?
Yeah.
Is she
Could
emotional?
you get her a mic next time?
Yeah. She can say "Who dat?" If we have a talking dog. That's all we need.
Right.
You
Who cares
put it on
about
Felder's
right?
Instagram and we're in business.
We have
and
2 speakers here then, right?
Yeah. And Felder, we can find you at felderunfiltered.com.
Yes. Felter Unfiltered, my website, Instagram, on LinkedIn by my real name, which is Lauren Felter.
We don't say that, Lauren. It's like, don't say it.
It's like coronavirus.
It's a horrible name. It's awful. It's too ordinary.
Yes.
I like the name Lauren, frankly, anyway, but...
So does my mom.
All right. Does your mom wear...
we got another hour of material right here.
Does your mom wear like a tie-dye overalls and smoke a lot of
No,
weed?
she does not know.
Oh, okay.
No.
Just checking on that. Okay, that's Happy Hour for another week. It's been fun to be outside here in the courtyard at the Maple Leaf.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me, everybody. The producer of our show is Graham DePonte. Monique Pyle is our music producer. Our music consultant is Christian Unruh. Thomas Walsh is our technical director. And our Facebook Live feed director, who put this whole thing on Facebook Live, is Asher Griffith. Andrew Searock is not here today because he's... in Los Angeles, avoiding coronavirus. Our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright for about an hour while drinking alcohol, drop us a line. Or taking CBD, I guess. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can find out there's many other happy hours that we've made before. This one you can listen to as well as other shows we make around here called maybe Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker, and our award-winning podcast about death called Death the Podcast. You can also find other great, that's true, Doyle. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on a bunch of time-sucking social media like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can find those links on our website, itsneworleans.com, and you can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our It's New Orleans Happy Hour Facebook page. These photos were taken today by Jill LaFleur. You can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, thank you for taking the time to subscribe to us. If your podcast app has a share option, try telling a couple of friends about Happy Hour. The show is recorded live today at the Maple Leaf Bar on Oak Street in Uptown New Orleans, the longest running musical venue in New Orleans for 45 years. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Andrew Duhon will be here back next week, I think. In the meantime, for him and everyone else around the table here at the Maple Leaf and back at our office at INO Broadcasting, thanks for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. I will see you back here next week if we're allowed to keep making Happy Hour for more of it. See you then.